Okay, I am now bringing a different message. This is not a regular message. This is not an 11 a.m. meeting or a 6 p.m. meeting, and you can probably see the difference because I'm using my phone, and therefore it may come across a little bit differently to how I look on the computer. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What does matter? I have two things that I hope that I'm going to remember that have come to mind from me editing yesterday's 6 p.m. meeting. Well, firstly, I am put out quite a deal by having to edit yesterday's meeting. As you may know, I used to write messages, record messages, and then edit those messages, and I would put a title at the beginning, and I would put credits, not really credits, but you know what I mean, at the end, but more so a contact at the end. And what I used to do was type out all the verses that I quoted or I read, and I would put them on the screen. I got to a point where I started doing messages like this. I no longer spent 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours maybe, writing a message, and another hour going through recording the message. And it would take that long because I'm reading the message, and often I might misread a word, or I might accidentally skip a sentence and be totally out of place, and therefore go back and it's like I might read something 2 or 3 times and it never came across the way that I meant when I wrote it, so I then reread it, etc. So I might take 40-45 minutes just to read a half-hour message, and then I have to go back and edit it, and that editing would take a couple of hours. There's an entire day gone in half an hour message. Now, I don't bother writing the message. I don't bother editing much. I'll put a title on it. I'll put that contact message at the end of it. I don't even bother putting the scriptures in anymore. I don't bother cutting out the ums and ahs anymore. I and ah an awful lot less because I'm not reading. So there's less to cut out. But those few ums and ahs that are there, mostly I just leave them there. I don't care. I don't have the time to spend 2 hours editing a simple message. So I am at a point that I have just edited the evening message, and because I'm speaking with Clinton in Africa, I find it very difficult to understand what he's saying. So I will go over it again and again and again to find clarity in what he's saying, and whatever words I can work out what he's saying, I will type and therefore subtitle it all over the place. And I find that what I've been doing recently, reducing the message editing from 2 hours of work for a half-hour message down to a half-hour of work. The reason being, yeah, I'm still putting in the title and the credits at the end, but I'm going through double speed rather than listening to myself talking at normal speed. And I can get through that half-hour video in about 20 minutes, and then I've got 10 minutes to do those titles and stuff, and so what? But that's just taken me hours, and I am worn out. The big problem is I am now feeling quite tired, both physically and mentally, due to doing it. And I don't want to go through that feeling, especially as it will take away what I can do the rest of the day. If I want to work on other videos that I've created, it's going to detract. If I want to work on some other written material that I'm working on, it's hard for me to get my mindset back into it, etc. So, I don't want to add subtitles to those anymore. Gives me two options. Do I deliver them to you without having the clarity of me giving you the subtitles? They can be very difficult to understand. Will you then go, oh, I don't even want to watch this stuff? Or do I just say, I'm not going to put those forward to the group at all? There is a third option. Somebody could edit for me, but somebody'd have to put their hand up and say, look, I want to do that. Until that happens, personally, I'm just going to leave those. I'm not going to get highly involved with people that do not speak a very clear English. Okay, so, in other words, unfortunately there might be some good stuff in it, but I'm just going to pass on doing those. They're not going to end up as videos going to the group unless somebody else helps. What was the other issue that came up? Prosperity doctrine. Clinton straight away wanted to talk about verses in the Bible that say God will bless you for giving. Okay, sure. God doesn't guarantee 100% that he's going to bless you for giving, especially if your giving is in the wrong attitude. Why are you giving? Are you giving purely to receive? Cast your bread upon the water and it'll come back in every wave? Well, if you're trying to get more bread, then casting it upon the water means you're going to get soaked bread back. Soaked bread might puff up and it might appear to be more, but it's not really more because some of those crumbs have just washed away. I'm not saying prosperity and giving is wrong, not at all. God will bless people that give in the right attitude. Giving purely to get back? It's probably the wrong attitude. So let's look at the prosperity doctrine. The prosperity preachers. I have no issue with the fact that the Bible talks about blessing people with prosperity. I pray that God supplies my needs. But more often than not, in the Bible it's talking about needs being met and not necessarily, and it does on occasion talk about abundance, but not necessarily abundance beyond needs most of the time. And we have a lot of prosperity preachers out there. I have an issue with their particular message, not what's in the Bible. What they say about what's in the Bible, great, sure, it's there, and I honour that. Yes, God does want us to gain how much? Well, billions of dollars just for the sake of us spending it on ourselves? No. Billions of dollars to give away and bless others? Well, maybe. But you're not going to get those billions of dollars to give away and bless others if you're not taking care of what God has given you now. And B, people that preach those things tend to later come around and say, and I need, give to me. The Bible says give, so give to me. I have a big problem with that. Their focus is on the giving, not glorifying God. Their focus in that case is on the give to me more than being blessed. They're not reading about other things that bring blessings, like being a godly person, like walking away from sinfulness. No, they're not a focus, because they're not the scriptures that encourage you to give, and more specifically, give to them. So, what about it? I have an issue with those who seek to spread a prosperity gospel for their own benefit. That's selfishness. And even if they do give some away themselves, their focus is on them receiving. Our focus should be on God no matter what. Forget the prosperity gospels. Forget all the other ones, like the people focusing on prophecy, people focusing on revelation, people focusing on this or that. If you want to focus on something, focus on walking a godly life. That's what we should focus on. And not in our own strength, but loving God so much that we don't have to worry about avoiding sin. We won't even be thinking about sin. All we think about is God. What's on your mind? What's in your heart? Is it God all the time? Or is it what you can get? That's the problem with the prosperity preachers. It's usually what they can get. Okay, so I hope not to have put anyone off. And I hope that you might also understand here that one of the things that I guess I'm getting at here is discernment. Can you discern what that person is seeking when they preach? Do they want for you to grow and for God's kingdom to grow? Or do they want their wallet to grow? We've got to get to a stage where we can discern the people preaching at us. Because there are goats amongst the sheep. There are tares amongst the wheat. There are those that in the judgment day, God says, get away, get out, I never knew you. Even though they say we healed in your name and we cast out demons in your name. Well, hang on, who's doing those things? The average Christian? Usually not. It's usually the ministers. So he's saying to the ministers, get out. Which ministers? The ones that are all about me. All about me preaching something for my benefit. I don't know why I even preach half of, or teach half of what I teach. Because I don't care about what I do or do not get. It's irrelevant. What do you need to learn? Oh, I don't know. I don't know you individually. But what does the average person generally need to learn? To change from a life of me, selfishness, what I want, my desires, my needs, my pride, my ego, my me, to a life of God. What can I do for you? Okay, bless you. Govern well in Karis.